Okay, take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is In the Field with Oliver Field, bringing you the gospel of the new century without any new beginnings. Today, I'm going back to an idea that I've thought about for a very, very long time. Heck, before the pandemic, I think. We're going to be talking about dead internet theory. And I'll go more into that later, but first, I'd like to thank her crew, I guess, and Miss Kaiser. But more specifically, I'd like to thank Torin and Varun and George, of course. This is his creative vision for this episode and most of the episodes going forward.
I just want to say, as chief editor, I'm very excited what the future holds. If we can get formula like this every Thursday, I think In the Field will have a very bright future despite some bleak. It was looking bleak for a while.
Hiccups with censorship, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing good now though.
But also thank you to Miss Ingrata for still giving us this opportunity to film at school, even if it's in a more limited capacity. And thank you to all the fans, just for everything. All right, so I have George on with me today. Everybody should know him, but if you don't, he's editor-in-chief, as he already said. George, have you ever heard of dead internet theory?
Well, I've heard it being used just like around the internet. I think it has to do something with like AI and like more bot accounts than human accounts. I know that like YouTube and Twitch has, fake views where people will pay for bots to watch their videos for like engagement purposes. But outside of that, as far as like the whole internet goes, no, I don't know what that would look for. I don't know what that would look like.
Well, dead internet theory is basically this idea that the shape of the modern World Wide Web today is a lot like a hot air balloon. On the outside, it looks really, really big, all sorts of information, tons of users, tons of content. But on the inside, it's really hot air. Now, I'm not sure if I'd go that far. The internet is completely useless, that it's all just for appearances. But dead internet theory recently has been picking up tons and tons of traction, largely because of AI. It's become a lot easier to fake comments, to fake entire videos even.
You hear a lot about those content farms that are all...
Ava Schoen, please report to the front office. Ava Schoen, please report to the front office.
You hear a lot about those content farms that are all about, just like having an AI just pump out loads and loads and loads of content without any, regard for the quality, just to really throw as many hooks out there and see what, can get a bite.
Now, one thing I would like to point out is that the word content farm, it's not really that new of a word. It doesn't come from dead internet theory or anything like that. And it's not related to AI. Content farms could be made by ordinary people like you and me. This could be a content farm. But that's what I'm trying to get at. Dead internet theory now, in certain circles, is really popular because of AI. But in my opinion, it goes far, far deeper than that. I think in general, Sabrina Hardcastle should report to the front office. Please. I think in general, the internet was already dead. I'm sorry, but when you compare the internet since around 2014, especially 2016, to the internet of, say, the late 2000s or the late 90s, there was a lot more of a sense of community. There was a lot more of a focus on sharing yourself, on being personal and individual, and not being someone who makes content for the sake of being popular. This is especially seen online with stuff like YouTube.
Yeah, you do see a lot of people nowadays, even little kids, just trying to hit it big as influencers. I know there's been several surveys where, one of the number one jobs that kids aspire to be, internet influencer. And while, I think it's good to dream and, living in a mansion, making videos about Minecraft or whatever, that's definitely a dream job, sure. Aspiring to be that and actually thinking that you can be that when it's like the 1% of the 1%, I just don't think it's very healthy or productive.
Well, I don't know. I think some people can think about making videos and being successful with it. I do think that influencer can be a very not easy to get into job, but a job with lots of people in it. A job with a lot of openings, so to
That's
speak.
true. That's true. There's a lot of avenues, creative outlets, like podcasting, for example. Well, not that we're hitting it big, but that can take you to being a very
All
popular
sorts
influencer.
of niches, too. That just, if you're the big dog in that niche, you could be rich from it. Or you could at the very least have enough to live off of.
Well said.
But the problem is that it's about being an influencer now. When people make a YouTube channel, they're trying to be a YouTuber. They're not trying to simply express themselves. And that was the first big change, a fundamental change, from the internet of old to the internet of now. It's no longer a thing of play, it's a job. It's all about making money, making views, making clicks. And this encourages people.
Ava Schoen, if you don't get your ass to the front
It
office,
encourages people to
I'm gonna have to
ask
take
Ava
matters in my own
Schoen
hands.
to get to the front office. Because jokes like that are supported by the algorithm, right? And the algorithm, I think, is the AI that we should be worried about, that we should have been worried about a long time ago, that people should have been worried about algorithms and social media being dictated by an algorithm before we were born. But they weren't.
Yeah, AI has honestly kind of been a more recent thing. I mean, they definitely weren't talking about it as much as they are now when I was, 6 or 7 or whatever. But one thing that has been around, even before I was born, was the YouTube algorithm. You hear it all the time, everywhere you go. And I think, a big part of who you are is the media that you consume. And when a big part of that media is being fed to you from this, closed curtain, big AI. Justin, I've told you so many times. Okay, but when this big, conglomerate company is having this, sneaky behind the curtain AI that's feeding you this new media.
And if you excuse me, it's a closed loop, too. So a lot of people talk about how it's easy to fall into a pipeline and get into extremist views.
Absolutely.
Continue.
And listen, true story. I have a YouTube Premium account because I'm filthy, stinking rich. But because of that, I have to share it with my mom, my parents obviously are the ones who bought it and pay for it. But
So
my
not
mom,
that rich.
shut up! My mom, my dad, but also my grandfather, my grandmother, and my sister. So my algorithm is porked, right? Because I will get Apex Legends top frag videos along with updates. I might have to censor that. Along with classic car videos, along with latest drama about a freaking K-pop band, and it's just.
But you'd be into the K-pop bands.
No,
he
that's my
recently
sister.
watched this
Listen,
Netflix
K-pop
video.
Demon Hunters is good, but I don't care about like actual K-pop bands. Who cares?
Okay.
But it's just a giant hodgepodge. It's a mess, and honestly, I can't even find the stuff that I want to watch anymore.
So what you're saying is you specifically want the algorithm to be a closed feedback loop, to not expose you to new topics and things that are outside of your comfort zone. You want it to just be what you want to watch. And of course, it's entertainment. Why wouldn't you?
Well, yes. I think.
But that's a problem.
That's a problem. Well, you know what, Oliver, why is that a problem? Please tell me.
Why is that a problem? Because people shouldn't always get what they want. Okay?
That's a classic saying that you have.
Yes, you shouldn't get what you want, because then you'll only get what you'll deserve.
Ooh.
People need to grow and expand, and a closed feedback loop doesn't allow that, but I'm getting off topic.
So let's bring this back to the dead internet theory, right?
Okay.
These algorithms, these closed feedback loops, and the media and how it informs and creates who you are, what does that have to do with the dead internet theory?
Well, it encourages people to act like the robots and the AI that the dead internet theory has recently become popular for. And I know George is a doubting Debbie right now.
Well, I do.
On
we
my
gotta have
show.
some discussion.
But it encourages people to make content that's specifically for the algorithm, so they aren't being unique. They aren't doing necessarily what they want to do.
Aren't being
They're
creative.
doing what they want to do that would be successful. And people only see what's successful.
Because of the algorithm.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, obviously, something without views is not
This
going
is
to
the
get seen.
second announcement about Ava Schoen.
Please report to the front
She's
office.
dodging
You are
it.
being checked out. Please report to the front office.
She's going to jail.
Anyway. I'm sorry.
Lock in, Oliver.
Anyway, when people are exposed to it, it's like you are what you eat. You think about what you are exposed to. You're being exposed to the same things, and oftentimes, I use this word in a purely academic sense, it has a pornographic effect
Okay.
where you're trying to
We're
get
cutting that.
more and more extreme things. That is an academic term. That'll
I'll
be
pull
censored
up-
anyway.
I'll get the Webster. Yeah, we'll make it work. Don't worry.
Not only does it lead to extremism, as I said, it's just, I'd like to point out that the dead internet theory was not invented when stuff like AI and ChatGPT became popular. It started in 2016. That's when it was originally made up. And that's because people were encouraged to act in certain ways to feed the algorithm and to say certain things that would be popular. That's all. I feel like the internet doesn't have an organic spread of information, and it needs that. We need that desperately.
Yeah, I do tend to see a lot of videos. Like, there's this one guy I watched, Super Eye Patch Wolf. Have you
Yeah.
ever? Yeah. He made a video about influencer courses, which I think is, a thing I've been around all my life. You got like Jake Paul and all these other YouTubers.
Since 2009.
How to get rich at YouTube, and I'm just taking this point from him, but I do think it's very intelligent. You have to start at least by doing something that you're creatively passionate about. Perfect example, us two right here and all of our amazing crew. In the Field is a total work of passion. We have stuff we want to talk about, and that's why we're doing it. People making their videos to get rich, whether it's gaming, politics, whatever else, it's just not healthy. And like Oliver said, especially when you're making it for an algorithm, you are what you eat. And if you're making it for a robot, your videos are gonna come out.
You're going
less
to
human.
act like it, so to speak.
Exactly.
And sadly, we are running out of time, but I would like to say that it's more than just videos, commenters, let's say political commentary, and all sorts of things like that have also been seriously affected, but that's for another time. Thank you for watching. This has been In the Field with Oliver Field.
All right, now be still. Be still. Now wave at the camera.